For a season, this was my place. Not a house that holds you, but one that you pass through. They call this place the Village Greenhouse. It's the premier florist here in Aiken. They also call this house behind me the McCarty House. It's where my husband and I live, on the same grounds as the greenhouse. And we own and operate the Village Greenhouse, the florist here in Aiken. It is 1927 in Aiken, South Carolina. The air is mild this morning, the kind that settles softly against the skin and stays. And the greenhouse is already waiting. There's always something growing here, even when the rest of the world feels uncertain. Families arrive from New York, from Rhode Island, from Massachusetts, escaping the harsher winters for something gentler here. And for a season, Aiken becomes its own little world. The house itself was built to welcome. Wide porches, tall doors, rooms that breathe. When the front windows are open, the breeze moves straight through, carrying the scent of green things inside. Inside, the ceilings of the living room rise higher than they need to, as if the house understands the importance of space, of light, and of pause. The dark beams are set in careful order, what people today call the Hitchcock ceiling. My husband insisted on it. He said if a room was meant for gathering, it should lift your eyes. Something beautiful, something deliberate. It isn't decoration, it's instruction. The dining room is built for a proper table, a large table, for family and friends. There's space to pull back chairs without apology, space to stay longer than planned. 3 tall sash windows line the wall, allowing in just the right amount of privacy and the perfect amount of light. Morning light for breakfast, afternoon light for visiting, evening shadows long enough to linger. Between the dining room and the kitchen, there's a little jewel of a room. Most guests never even notice it. A butler's pantry. It's not for display, but for order. There's a bell mounted on the wall so the kitchen can be signaled without raising a voice. A deep cast iron sink beneath the window where silver is rinsed, hands are washed, and the work of hospitality quietly passes through. There are details in this house you don't rush past. Transom windows, French doors. The house remembers who it's been. Nothing closes abruptly in this house. Everything was designed to let air move and to let people linger. Sometimes school children come through the gates to visit us at the Village Greenhouse. Each one leaves wide-eyed and curious with a camellia plant of their own. I like to think they remember the feeling of this place more than the flower itself. This is how life unfolds here, season by season, quietly, intentionally. Before anyone ever reaches the house, there's a brick wall. Brick laid with care, wrapped in ivy that's been allowed to choose its own path. It grows where it wishes, softening what was built to last. My husband wanted the wall to encircle the entire property, not to shut people out, but to give the house a sense of boundary. He believed a home should know where it begins. Once you pass through this beautiful iron gate, you're not in town anymore. You are here, inside the garden, inside the season. The mailbox stays close to the door and letters arrive daily during the wintertime. Invitations, notes, confirmations. You quickly learn that a house doesn't just receive mail, it receives people. The gate doesn't rush anyone, it simply marks the moment where we set the outside world down. Gravel slows the step, camellias fall when they're ready. By the time one reaches the porch, voices have already lowered. The porch opens wide, brick beneath, and the cool iron of the stairway railing beneath the hand. It's not a place to hurry through. It's It's a place that's meant to hold arrival before anything more is even asked of you. By 1927, Aiken is already known across the country as a winter refuge and called the Winter Colony. Families arrive escaping harsh winters elsewhere. And if you lived in a house like this, you didn't just live here, you hosted. The season truly comes alive between January and March. Mornings on the porch, afternoons spent visiting, evenings that never felt rushed. Aiken, of course, revolves around horses. Their stables line the sandy roads, and their carriages pass our gates. During the season, Aiken fills with familiar names you might know. The Hitchcocks are here, of course. They shaped the riding culture and the hunt in this area. The Bostwicks arrive with their horses and their polished manners, bringing New York with them for the winter. Refined, practiced, and perfectly at ease in this world. Some evenings, my husband and I sit side by side on the porch and we watch the carriages pass. We speak little, only noting the names as one might note the weather. One hears of the Whitneys, the Vanderbilts. That's a railroad dynasty whose fortunes helped build the nation. And other family members who return season after season as though Aiken has quietly claimed them. And then there are the Astors. Mrs. Astor herself is spoken of often, a survivor of the Titanic. There's a tenderness in the way we say her name, as if everyone understands that she carries more than most. And after such loss, she chooses Aiken for its calm and for its mercy. There are other names that you might know, like the Rutherfords, and it's also known that Franklin Delano Roosevelt visits them frequently, finding refuge and familiarity in their home. For a season, Aiken becomes its own small world. Around our home, evenings are quieter. We have a radio, and our family gathers around to listen to music, news, and voices far away. Some nights there's piano music, hymns sung softly, or someone reading aloud while the rest listen. Entertainment is something that we share together. Of course, there are dinners, the Aiken Country Club, the church socials, garden parties rather than grand galas. Dinner parties are often candlelit and unhurried, carefully planned and thoughtfully hosted. Nearly a century has passed since those porch conversations. The horses still move through Aiken, the gardens still grow, and the houses, they're still waiting to welcome whoever comes next. Because some homes aren't just lived in, they're carried forward. The guests are gone, the greenhouse has changed, but the feeling hasn't. Homes like this don't belong to one time. They carry every season they've lived through, and if you listen carefully, they still remember who cared for them. This is Aiken, South Carolina, and this is the McCarty House, and this story is still unfolding. Thank you so much for coming along with me on this little journey back to this historic home in Aiken, South Carolina. I fell in love with it the first time I saw it and knew I had to share it with you on Unapologetically Southern. If this home speaks to you too, my daughter is the listing agent. You'll find her information in the description below.